I'm excited.
Yes.
So, talking about names and um, how important it is not only to use the right name, but how bizarre it is that we default to, in my opinion, my case, if I can't remember the name of a place, I make up something. Whether it's Boots and Coots, Dad has a restaurant here he calls Chip Chap because he can't remember the name. When you guys were little, was very apt at just calling things thingamajiggers. If I couldn't remember what the name was, it was a thingamajigger or a who's a what's it or whatever. The funny part to that is then when Disney Ariel movie came out, Little Mermaid, she has a whole song about a thingamajigger because she doesn't know the name of a fork. And I remember
something else.
Who's a what's it or something like that. But I remember
funny that that I always Lila says it and I'm like, oh, I don't think you should say that because we use that word for something else. What's the name of it?
I don't know. But it's funny because I remember Megan looking at me like, "What? How does she know that that's what you call things?" But that's classic for me. If I don't know or if it doesn't come to me quick enough, it's thingamabob. Connor used Dinglehopper. Yes.
Which, so she was saying that the other day, and we used to call.
Yes, little man.
Yeah, Dinglehopper.
Yes.
So she keeps when she says that. That's the nickname I think of. Something else.
And you're going, no.
I go, whoa, we shouldn't say that. And she's like, it's a Little Mermaid, and I'm like, it is.
Yeah, Dinglehopper.
Yeah, okay.
But it's true, and there are. I remember Connor laughing. He goes, one day he said, "You're in that list of when you look at me and you call me Patrick or Megan. The next thing is going to be Thingamabobber or Dinglehopper because the name doesn't come."
Yeah. Okay. So for those of you that are just joining us and listening into our warm up conversation, today we're talking about names, not only the importance of names, but also silly names and nicknames.
Silly names.
Okay.
And things that you come up with when you cannot remember a name. It could be a restaurant. It could be an item, a person.
I called farts stinkies for years past when I should have. My friends in college and beyond were like, what are you talking about?
Why?
Stinkies. I made a stinky.
Why?
That went over well. I was real popular.
I'm sure.
The kids stopped using it even long ago. They knew before they were 6 that
I
was
know.
a word.
I know. Dad never liked that. He would get so angry at me when I would say, "Oh, they made a stinky." He said, "No, they farted. It's a fart. That's what it's called." But I don't think that's a nice word. So,
well, I'm sure other people have lots of nicknames. We give cars nicknames. I never really gave my car a nickname, though.
Me neither. Hannah's car has always been Donna.
Donna.
That's her car name.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never
had names for her cars.
Really?
I don't remember them now. I think this past car she named, and then we just haven't used it.
It didn't hold. See, maybe
it didn't. Things going on in life,
right? Or it also did not hold up to the name. She might have given it a real, cool name, and she's going, "Yeah, it's not."
I had to give half the kids on all the sports teams we coach nicknames because there's 400 kids you're trying to remember the names of over the span of a few weeks. You get there, but first you got to give them a nickname, or else I'll never remember.
No, or you have to turn them around so you can read the back of their shirt.
If they even have a name on there, yeah. Usually it's like Jeffrey's Plumbing.
Jeffrey, get out there.
Yeah.
But so the other piece of it is when you are, when words or names of things don't come to you very quickly. The other thing that I always found was in song lyrics, same thing. Dad always, I'm notorious for it. We'll be in the car. I'm singing loud because I think I know all the words. And then I say something that is not the words. I actually wrote down some that the,
I remember one the other day.
the first one. So there is a song, and I have to remember where it is. There is a song, and in the song, they talk about kaleidoscope eyes, the girl with kaleidoscope eyes. I always said it was the girl with colitis goes by. And I
Those are the good
remember
things.
being like 50 and in the car and singing out loud. Dad goes, "What did you just say?" I said, "The girl with colitis goes by." I said, "That sounds so sad." I said, "Why? Why? How did they know?"
She should get that fixed.
He said, "It's kaleidoscope eyes." I said, "Oh my God." I had
No,
no
that's
idea.
with a Weird Al song. I don't think that's what they said.
It's true. So then when I looked it up, it's like number 34 of all the songs that people get wrong. And people say the same thing. They think she has colitis. So
It's a sympathy song.
it's a
No,
sympathy. That's right. Oh,
actually, she
yeah.
can see lots of fun colors.
The other one. This is, there's a song called Witchy Woman. Witchy Woman. That's the line.
I already know where you're going with this one.
I always thought they said, he is a woman.
Oh, I thought you were just going to replace the W with a B.
He is a, no, not that. Nope. That wasn't the part that got me. He is a woman. Yeah, no, not good. Not good. I just
What are you listening to these songs on? Vinyls? What is it?
vinyl.
MP3
Yeah,
players?
no. When I'm doing my crosswords, no.
Yeah.
But they come on. So Dad has a he likes the Sirius station classic rewind. Loves it. That's where a lot of these show up. I feel like now I listen more to song lyrics. I'm more in tune to them. And maybe it was because I had kids and I was busy and I wasn't paying attention, or I was a teenager and I wasn't paying attention. Now I tune in a little bit more. I'm more focused on what I'm listening to. Back in the day, no. Although even that song, um, Old Town Road, Old Town Road. I first time I heard it. See, I had to go back and write these down. First time I heard it, I thought it said, "I'm going to take my horse to a hotel room."
Yeah, sounds right.
No sense. I remember listening to it again going, "Oh yeah, no, no, no. Take my horse down to Old Town Road." Yeah.
Well, we don't really think about the lyrics when you're younger. You just listen to the tunes.
Right.
Unless you're like sad about somebody died or you're in a breakup, then you're like listening to words. But otherwise, I don't think we really care. We
We
just
don't care.
I
And we
like the
just
beat.
kind of
It's good. And whatever the words are, I'm going to sing them.
right
Right or wrong.
or wrong.
Somebody will correct me
I
30 years
remember
later.
I remember doing karaoke years ago with Dad. This was in Rochester, the Ramada Inn on Chila Avenue. That's how long ago it was.
Shout out, they're not a
And
sponsor.
shout out to Ramada Inns across the country. Um, and we were doing karaoke, and somebody stood up and they started to sing Elton John's "Tiny Dancer." That was the thing. That was the song. Now, the line says, "Hold me close, my tiny dancer." This guy, again, it's karaoke. The words are in front of you. No, he had so much confidence. "Hold me close, Tony Danza." I was like, and I
Yeah.
remember us all losing it and laughing and being like, I don't think that's the line. And then he saw the correct version, and "Oh no, 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 I was just kidding. I was just kidding." It's like, no, I don't think you were kidding. I think that was you were being true and you were convinced. But it was his level of confidence that I was convinced. Convinced. That must be it. Maybe it is "Hold Me Close, Tony Danza,"
Yeah, it
and
was a
not "Tiny
song
Danza."
for Taxi.
Yeah. But it was his confidence. He was confident in what he was saying. Kind of like when I was with Elizabeth and we were talking about Eminem and Slim Shady.
Yeah.
And I'm 61. I always thought they were two different people. And
Well, it could arguably be different people.
but she just looked at me very kindly and she said, show me photos of them. She goes, I'd love to see what they both look like. I pulled up their photos and I just looked at her and I went, oh, it's the same. And she said, well, I was convinced that they were two different people, but she said, you came in with such confidence that I thought maybe she knows something that I don't know. No.
That's fair. That's okay. I often think some people are the same, different people, and then I just see, oh, they shaved their beard. It's like me. Half the time I look, every day I look different. My hair is different. My beard's different.
But that's nice. You have options.
Yeah, that's it.
If you ever wanted to go incognito, you could do it.
Now, the kids used to call things funny names all the time, and I think every kid does that. But is there anything else? Is there anything we used to say that was like turned into something like Stinky did?
You were Spischetti. No, not you. Connor was Spischetti.
Yeah.
You always, with a French accent, would say restaurant.
Well, that's probably how they should be pronounced.
But,
You know,
but you were like
any
4.
technical place would be a restaurant.
But you were 4, like 4 or 5, 6. We go, where do you want to go? Restaurant. What? And you would say it when we were with other people, and they'd be like, why? Why is it French? I don't know. I got nothing. And there are still times where I hear it when you say it. There are still times I hear a little bit of that long restaurant. And I think he still has it. He still has it.
Mixed in with this new Southern accent.
Fortunately, Connor doesn't call spaghetti Spischetti anymore. Yeah. That's good. That's a good one.
We do got nicknames. So you said Boots and Coots earlier. There's a bar. Well, it's not a bar. That sounds bad. It is a bar. But it's a bar you can take children to. So, and not the kind that you're not allowed to take children to. But they've got pool tables, air hockey.
It's a family. It's a family
brewery. Yeah. How about we call it that?
Family friendly.
And it's here in the South, and it's in the country, and so there's a lot of boots in there. And I don't know where the coots came from, but for everybody listening, I think some of us thought coots was something different. It's actually a bird, which goes well with the boots and Southern kind of hunting theme. But we now call this place Boots and Coots because that's easier to remember than its name.
And I don't know why. Again, I have no idea why. Its real name is not that difficult.
No.
But in my mind, I was trying to get my thought out quick. Boots and Coots.
Better than Boots and Toots or something like that.
Exactly. Right. Boots and birds. That's what it is. It's just cowboy boots and birds. Family friendly boots and birds.
So it is fun to have nicknames for things, or for people or for places. But we also names, we could talk about different types of names, origins of names, but that's kind of boring and we don't want to do that.
No.
There's other podcasts if you want to listen to that talk about those things. But it is important, I think, for us, and something you always taught me, is to use people's names when you're talking to them or when you meet them. I go to the grocery store, and every time I'm there, I look at the name tag of who's checking me out.
Yeah.
And I try to say that name a few times, and that way when we're done with that interaction, I can say, thank you, Jeffrey. I appreciate it. I hope you have a great day. Because it is impactful. If somebody says your name after you see them or they see you on the street, you're like, oh, somebody knows me. Somebody recognized my name. And that's the one thing that's like the core part of you. When you're born, you get a name. And that's what you're identified by. So if people recognize that, that's really impactful. So I'll never forget that. And I always try to do it Occasionally you get it wrong, but you try. And
But it's so important. I think it's not only is it it's important on a lot of different levels. It's important, obviously, as the person meeting somebody new, because you want to have that connection, and I always try to stay very focused and in the moment when I'm meeting somebody new, so that I can retain their name. And again, I repeat their name. Sometimes I try and make a connection to someone else. So, like if they say their name is, Jacqueline, I think about another Jacqueline and I know. And I try to then form the two together so that the next time I see this person, I'll remember her name is Jacqueline. And there's so many tricks to doing that. But then the other piece of it is being the person that's being seen. You're right. It's so respectful for you to not only, I've put myself out there, I've shared my name with you, this is who I am. You respond by repeating my name, and I now feel seen. I feel like we've made a connection. And that can be for anybody. That I try to do that with wait staff. Like anybody that waits on me. I don't care if it's a bartender, I don't care if it's someone coming here to serve something at the house. They show up, "Hi, my name is Jack. Hey Jack, how are you? Like, I hope you're having a great day, and thanks for, helping me," or whatever it is. I just think that's so important because, again, they're providing a service, yes, and you're paying for it. But at the end of the day, we're human beings walking on the planet. Um, and I think it's so important to remember all that. There was years ago, I remember going to a conference, and one of the tricks that they told you was to always put your name tag at the shoulder of the arm that you extend to shake a hand. So for me, it would be on my right lapel because I'm shaking my right hand, so that people can easily, as they're shaking my hand, glance up, see my name, say my name. And it's not like, "Oh, where's your name tag?" Do you know what I mean? That was a really, really good trick that I learned. And I try to share that with a lot of people at work because I always thought that was a really good thing to be able to do. Again, you don't have to search for it because a lot of people are not comfortable sharing their names, or, depending on the circumstance, they're not very outward with their names, or they whisper, or, and I also don't feel bad about saying, "I know we met before, but your name escapes me." That's okay. Way better than somebody in the neighborhood that every time I saw them for 10 years, would come up to me and say, "I don't think we've met. My name is," nope.
Elizabeth has somebody like that. She was telling me the other day. She's like, I've met this person 50 times, and every time we meet and I speak at things or whatever, that they come up to me like it's the first time we've ever met.
Yeah,
She said, drives me nuts. So that's the opposite of it. Is like you can't. There's a lot of people in the world. Yes, you're depending on what you do, you might meet tons, and it's going to be hard to remember everybody's name. But if you don't remember them, don't act like, or if you know, hey, I've seen them before, but I don't know. I don't know. Some people might not even just have a clue. But that's why it is important to, yes, the waiters. I try to do that too. Waiters and waitresses, same thing.
absolutely. Because
But
it goes back to that whole golden rule of treat others like you want to be treated. It's not that hard.
and if you want to build like any kind of decent legacy as a human being, and have, I always try to think of like when I'm gone someday, what did I leave behind? What positivity and joy can be left behind from whatever I did? And if there's nobody that even knows who you were, then there's not a whole lot of positivity I'm leaving behind.
Yeah.
So at every interaction you get, use that name is just the easiest little piece to connect with. You don't have to remember their cat's name or what they told you, how many kids they had, or what all their kids' ages and names were. Like that stuff, sure, it's hard. There's too many to remember. I
Right.
do that at work all the time. But the name is not that difficult, especially with all our technology now. Like you can see somebody and be like, oh, I know who they are, and I can look that up pretty quickly and be like, that's it, that's who it was. I remember.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And like you said, it's so easy to do it now in our phones or whatever. Back in the day, I used to keep a 3x5 index card, believe it or not, or I'd write it in my address book back in the day. If we met somebody or someone that dad worked with was coming for dinner and I found out they were allergic to something, I would write it down next to their name because that was also part of who they were. Um, and it's so interesting. So yesterday, dad and I went for a walk, um, and we're walking along, and a couple was coming towards us, probably in their 80s. And I stopped and I looked at her and I said, Sylvia, this woman used to be in my class when I was teaching my exercise class that I stopped teaching 11 years ago. I haven't seen her since. She grabbed me and she hugged me and she looked at me and I said, it's Kathy Riley. She said, I know. And during our conversation, I realized that she has started to lose a little bit of her memory. So I was trying to give her clues in our conversation about where she knew me from because I thought it's very possible that she doesn't. And I said, remember, we used to dance together when I was your teacher. And I said, on your birthday, you always requested either a Bob Dylan song or a Nora Jones song. And she just looked at me and she said, yes, yes. And I walked away. We gave each other a big hug again. We walked away and I got very emotional. And I said to dad, that made me really sad. But at the same token, like her eyes are bright and I was able to connect with her in a way that probably no one else has been able to in a really long time. And by the time I walked away, she remembered me. She had that, oh yeah, we did used to dance together and I love Bob Dylan. And I came home and I wrote her a note and I, in the note, wrote down the songs that she used to request because I thought she'll get that and there'll be, hopefully another memory will pop in. But again, it's so important that had I just let her walk by or not remembered her or not remembered her name, I might have been uncomfortable approaching her. But
Way to,
that's
way
not.
to bring us up with a positive story. I think some people almost started crying there. Good lesson.
No,
Good lesson. Good story. Could it use some more positivity? Yes.
it's unfiltered. It's unfiltered. But the
No.
positive part was, yeah, like she remembered dancing with me and we had fun and it was a really cool connection. And so I wrote her a note yesterday. I put my phone number in there and I said, let's walk together sometime. Let's, you know, have lunch. Let's whatever. It's those connections you make over time and those people that you remember. And there may be an instance where, and you've run into this a lot, where you're in one situation and you need to be able to reach out to somebody who does something completely different to get some kind of help or input. And because of a connection you made and you remembered their name, it's an easy connection to make, to rekindle.
And it is so simple, and I think a lot of people don't really put it together. But I think even in my like etiquette class before I went to college, uh, just the fact of once you make that introduction, using that person's name at least 3 times in that conversation, especially when you close it out, made them feel way more different than the person next to me who never said my name. The difference just triggers, I don't know, some kind of chemicals that you can look up in your brain to be like happy and excited and the dopamine or something to make you feel good. And now I remember that person more. And so
Mm-hmm.
it not only makes you more memorable, but also genuinely helps that person feel better because you
Absolutely.
never know what they're, they might have a day that, crap day. I don't know if we're allowed to say that. You might be having a crap day. Now we've said their name and they feel like somebody has listened to them and heard them. Yeah.
Yeah, they're being seen. As long as you don't break into a tune, like, hey, my name's Mickey. Oh, Mickey, you're so fine. You're so fine. You can't do that. Like, that's not, that wouldn't be good.
Do you do
You
that
never
often?
know.
What about if they have a hard name to pronounce?
Then I call them Frank or Sue.
What if their name's not a it's like not a native name that would, and then people nowadays have
Oh, I
very
know.
creative names.
And
There was
I
a baseball
really,
yesterday that had the name Phoenix. I thought, wow, that's a cool name. Not that it's
yeah,
hard to say, but maybe it's hard to say if you're a little kid. You
that
just
is a
read
cool.
it on a name tag. Like, well, I don't know what that says.
I see that, and I do struggle with that. I struggle with that. I would have to, when I met them, like in my mind, physically write it down, and then write it down after I got home. And even then, I used to work with somebody whose name was very hard to pronounce. And at one point, he was just like, you know what? I'm just going to have people call me Ron. And I said, yeah, but that's really not your whole name. And he said, yeah, but it's better than hearing people destroy it. you
I
know?
like to go in. I used to be really nervous about this because I didn't want to upset anybody. But I feel like if it was me, I'd want somebody to ask. So now,
Yeah.
I'm in technology. There's a lot of diversity and there's a lot of names that I am not used to seeing. And so I've got now to the point where I just ask, hey, it's great to meet you. I'm Patrick. Like, can you please tell me how I can pronounce your name properly? Because I don't want to mess it up.
Yeah.
And you can make light of it too. Like, I'm gonna destroy this name. I'm gonna really upset you if I call you the wrong name the rest of this call. So can you please tell me how I can pronounce that properly? But even beforehand, like if you're going into a work meeting or you already know who you're gonna meet ahead of time, I'll go on YouTube now and there's pronunciation of, and you type in the person's name and it's
Wow.
pretty cool. You can listen to it and then just repeat it 3 times. I usually do that if I know ahead of time. But if we're out in public and you just meet somebody, you got to ask. But that's a polite thing to do, I think, anyway.
Oh,
A lot
absolutely.
of
And I
time with
think that's very, very cool. And again, you're taking the time to try to learn it. They always say that that's the bigger piece. It's like when you travel to another country, you know, if you attempt the language, people appreciate it so much more than if you just ignore it.
yeah,
I think that's great.
yeah, because it goes back to you want to hear your name said. You
Yeah,
don't want to hear the wrong name said, but you want to hear something, not just ignoring it the whole time. Because then it's kind of obvious too. If you're thanking other people and using their name, and then you don't use that person's name, they're gonna they get it. It's not the
absolutely.
first time people haven't been able to pronounce their name, and it's not going to be the last.
And again, like you said before, the bigger piece is now they're going to remember you even more so because you made their day, because you tried.
Yep.
And you made a point of, I want to get this right for you.
Yep. I
Very
agree.
cool. Very cool.
All right. What else do we want to talk about with names?
I think that's it. I mean, I hate to say it, but I got a crossword puzzle. I haven't done Wordle yet today. Okay.
Okay, I thought you were talking about the book I sent you.
No, my larger print. No, I told you. And we had dinner with friends the other night, and I said, Patrick sent us this like large print activity book for adults. And I said, I was up at 3 o'clock one morning and I was really worried that maybe I wouldn't do well. So I opened it up and I said, I did 3 of the puzzles in each of the categories and I got it right.
I think they should re-specify. It shouldn't be for adults based on that. It should be for seniors who might be like the woman on your walk.
Maybe, maybe,
Because if there's
maybe.
pictures of 3 different fruits and it says circle the apple, I think most adults would be okay with that.
I would hope. I don't know. My favorite though is that line below where it says, your turn. Now you draw an apple. Oh boy.
Maybe they just repurposed the kindergarten, put like prep,
I think so.
pre-K, and they're like, "No, just write for adults. We don't have to change anything. We can sell it
No.
to a whole new market.
Whole new market, same thing. It's
Just a
all good.
new cover page."
I wouldn't be shocked.
Yeah.
Well, I hope that you have the best day.
Thank you. Busy day. A lot of names going on. I got 3 computers, all getting busy.
Well, get to it. And then you've got award ceremony. What time?
Uh, 12.
Nice.
12 o'clock it starts, but I don't. It goes until like 3, so I got to figure out what time they're actually at.
Wow.
I'm trying to sell our bikes. Yesterday, I put our bikes online, talk about names. The names that are sending me messages asking about the bikes
Yeah.
are very difficult to pronounce. And frankly, I might be being a little judgmental here, but I think they're spam and not real people.
I was going to say that would not shock me. That's
So
very
as not
common.
to offend anybody, I won't say the names, but they all start with, "Hey, is this available?" And like, no, it's not available. I just put it up online.
Yeah, just because.
Like, let's please get past that. Like, they're all available. It should not be a thing that Facebook even allows you to click. Is this available? But somebody said, so I wrote back like a dum dum. Are you interested? And I said, yes. Are you interested? Because it was another one of the click to send.
Yeah.
Yes. They said, yes, it is available. Not is it. It is available.
Yeah.
So I wrote, yes. And they said, do you want to come and see the bike? They asked me if I wanted to come see the bike.
Yeah. It's.
Here's my address. And they gave me their address. I don't know what to do with that.
Delete.
So,
just delete it.
and it's a name that I can't pronounce, nor would I try. But I also feel like it was a made-up name. So on the topic of names, there's made-up names out there trying to get me to go to some address for some unknown reason.
That's creepy.
Yeah.
That's really creepy when you think of it.
It is creepy. So it'll be the last time I try and sell something on Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah, that's never good. That's frightening.
Yeah. Bike names, that's one we could have talked about. Oh God, I had to look up the serial numbers for our bikes, try and find out what year they were, all the specs and all that stuff so I could post it. Bikes have like 17 different ways you can name a bike.
Oh, I know.
The year, the brand, and then some of them have models. Some of them just are based off of the type of metal that they have, or aluminum or carbon. I'm not nerdy enough to figure all that.
No, thanks. No. My favorite bike was my Schwinn banana seat. It's my favorite. My first bike.
Maybe that's our next category. Bikes. Who yelled? Didn't one of the comedians yell bikes?
Bikes. I think so. See, but when I think bike now, all I think about is that time we were all coming back from the corner store and I tipped over on my bike, and Dad to this day won't let me forget about it. I was just riding and pedaling, and then I didn't even put my foot down. I just went over.
Just tip over.
I just tipped over. And he was behind me. And he just started yelling, "What is wrong with you?"
It's Tom Segura. He's the one who yells bikes. He yells it apparently quite a lot.
That's funny.
I wonder if we're allowed to play it. Well, probably not.
Probably not.
Not a whole lot of things.
He'd want to cut.
Tom Segura bikes.
He'd want to cut.
He yells it, yeah. And then just picture you tipping over.
It's out of frame. 100%.
All right.
Go have a great day.
You too. That's it for today's episode of Mom and I Unfiltered. Thank you for joining. Thank you for listening. Stay tuned for another episode coming soon. I'm your co-host, Patrick Riley, alongside my mom, Kathy Riley. Have a great day.